Hello and welcome to Sin and Steel, the heavy metal podcast. I'm your host, Serotonin, and today we're joined by Dan and Phil of Australian metalcore outfit Engraved. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Yes.
So first up, for any viewers who are yet to listen to Engraved, how would you describe your music?
We're I'd say metalcore, but we're more classic metalcore,
Yep.
like early 2000s kind of vibe. Not so much modern, but yeah, I'd say like we fit into the influences come from like Trivium Parkway, Kill Switch. That's the avenue we go down when it comes to a bit of writing, and then yeah, the elements come from different members, so we start to mix our music up a bit with a bit of a hard rock kind of vibe, and
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit versatile. Slow, then fast, 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 slow,
Yeah.
fast.
Heavy, most importantly.
Heavy,
Yeah.
sorry, not fast.
That's the key thing, right? As long as it's heavy.
Yeah.
No, that's great. And how did the band form? Like, when did you guys kick off and what brought you all together?
Well, for the journey of Engraved, it started when I put an ad out on Gumtree, looking for a drummer in like 2018. Yeah, God, it's so long ago now, I can barely remember. Yeah, 2018, I put an ad out on Gumtree just to meet with someone, just to play music. At the time, I had no band experience, no kind of just jamming with anyone. Like, it wasn't
Yep.
really anything new. So for the start of that was just to get some experience and just have fun playing with someone, and eventually build on that and just feel the vibe of being in a band and thriving off each other's energy. And yeah, it's been quite a journey since then, like ever since we first played our first show,
Yep.
which was in 2021. And it's just, yeah, we've gone for a few lineup changes just as bands do, but that's pretty much where most of it is now. And then here we are with our, I think, fourth single.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's been a bit of a journey, yeah.
Yeah. How did you end up with people? So we were just talking about it before we started, but you've got, you're in Sydney, but the rest of the guys are in Queensland. How did you end up kind of with such a separation, and how does that tend to work for you guys?
Phil, you can explain this part.
I can go.
Yeah, sorry.
So
mate.
I'm originally from Queensland, and I wanted to come back home, and I rang Dan up one day. I'm like, oh, look, gonna have to leave. I'm gonna move to Queensland. He's like, no, we'll make it work. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Let it off, then move forward. Like, we had members just drop off as they do, and lineup changes, and then majority of the band ended up being in Queensland. So I just got mates that I knew
Yep.
from up here, and now Dan's all by himself down there.
Yeah,
He is thinking of moving.
it's a bit
Yeah?
lonely now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
he's
was
just got separation anxiety with his
yeah, I don't know.
parents.
It's a bit of I think it's just laziness mostly, but
Oh, it's huge to move. Like
Yeah.
effort, mental stuff. It's huge to move away like that. But yeah, it sounds like you guys found the right fit though. You've got a good group of people now.
Correct, yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Like, I've known Corey for 18 years now, and I've known Panda for 16 years,
Yep.
and then we got Tiago. So yeah. But we all know each other for quite a while
Yep.
now, so yeah, no, it's a good mix.
Awesome. So since you guys started out, you've released an EP that was Unleashed. You've got a few singles out, including the new one, which we will jump back into in a moment. But I guess, what else have you been up to? Like, it looks like you guys have been really busy, absolutely smashing the live shows all over Australia. How's that been going?
Oh, it's been amazing, So going back to maybe I think it was March or April was when Tiago and Panda I think officially joined the band,
Yep.
and we just decided, here's our songs, there's this, let's just smash out as many shows as we can, and
Awesome.
just get that experience of playing together. And how it is, like when you first play with people, like obviously there's going to be mistakes and things that go wrong, and you want to identify where you guys are the most strong and just focus on that. And we were able to pick on that very early into our first few shows.
Yep.
And so, yeah, that was kind of where it was. We just would book a show and think, stuff it. Like, let's just keep rolling with this until, like, we decide end of the year, we'll have a bit of a break, work on the album. And yeah, so that's why we've gone to, we were just recently in Adelaide and we went around to Melbourne.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's just nice playing in different cities, and you start to feel like you're like a touring professional band a bit. So
Yeah.
it makes it more exciting. Yeah.
No, that sounds like an awesome approach to it too. That would have been really good for you guys, like you said, not just to figure out exactly how everything fits and really get the vibe of each other, but also to just build that bond as a band as well. Nice.
Yeah.
Were there any standout shows for you amongst those?
I would like to say we played a show at Tomcat for the Whisperhead tour. You're right there, Phil.
Yeah.
That I don't know. That was probably one of my most recent favorite shows. But to be honest with you, like all the shows since it's been this lineup have just been so much fun. So
Yeah.
like we're all having a great time on stage, and I think people that watch us they can see that we're having a great time too. And it just starts to, like, you get that energy back from the audience, especially
Yep.
like our hardcore fans that came to all our Queensland shows. Like the Queensland ones have probably been the best ones, but yeah, those are probably
Nice.
the ones. Yeah.
What about you, Phil?
I would
Any
say Melbourne.
standouts?
Yeah, this year probably Melbourne, only because of the progression that we get there.
Yep.
So, like the first time we played Melbourne, there was literally just the sound guy.
Yep.
Like,
Okay.
not even the other bands had rocked up yet. And then the
That's rough.
second time, then it was just like a couple of bands and then some other people. So maybe there was maybe 10 people there.
Yep.
And then the next time just grew. And then the last time we went, it was awesome. Like,
Nice. Who did you play with last time in Melbourne?
Anna and Dan might
Colour
be able to
and
answer
Shade.
this. Oh yeah, Colour and Shade.
They were
Cool.
awesome. They were such a good band. They were headlining, and they were just such great performers.
Yep.
Yeah, same as Anna. Anna were there. They're a Melbourne-based band, and they were great.
You've played
as
with
well.
them a few times now, haven't you?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they're
They're a good bunch of people, and they work hard. So they're not like one of those lazy bands that just rock up, play, and leave.
Yep.
They hang around, like they promote as well. So it's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, they've
Yeah,
got a
we
lot
had-
going on their socials, which as do you guys, actually. You're really good at the social media stuff.
I
That's
hope
Dan.
it's just
Wherever he is.
I don't know what I'm doing, to be honest. I'm religiously posting each day, just hoping that it's the right thing to do.
Yep.
But yeah, no, we
looks
all
like you guys are doing
Content.
yeah, yeah,
He's a bit of a slave driver, dude. No.
yeah. I've got the whip cracking on all of them, so it's
Yeah.
It's good. We need it.
Are there any shows or any places that you, especially in Australia, that you haven't gotten to yet that you really want to get to?
I wouldn't mind up in Cairns. I
Yeah.
lived in Cairns for 8 years before Sydney. Go back up there. There's a lot of good little venues up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just nice up there. Like before the show, you can go chill out at the lagoon, or go to the reef or whatever.
That
Go to the
sounds
Daintree.
fantastic.
Yeah, Crystal Cascades.
Yep.
And then you finish it off with the gig, and then it's awesome.
Nice. Yeah, that'd be great. So I also believe a congratulations is in order. I did see that you guys have just signed to the Aussie rock label X Music. So well done and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. It took us a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did that all come about?
yeah.
And how do you guys feel about that change? What does it mean for you guys?
So I had the pleasure of meeting Tim, the CEO,
Yep.
at a dinner, believe it or not, before Motley Crue, when Motley Crue last came to Australia.
Awesome.
And we hit it off and showed him Engraved and all that. And yeah, and then we were just in chats and I was sending him demos and
Yep.
all that. So, yeah. And it's been really good to work with Tim. Like,
Yep.
X Music, they work hard. So,
He's been
Yeah,
awesome.
but-
Tim's been awesome, yeah.
That's wicked. Yeah, so what does that mean for you guys? Does it change anything or the way you're approaching certain things?
Yes and no. Like, I mean, we've now got a record deal, so this is now one of the next things we're kind of working to, which again is we can't believe it, to be honest. It just feels great to have that opportunity.
Yeah.
But in terms of like performing and playing, like everything else is kind of the same for us.
Yeah.
You know, we always try to do right by people, like with a contract, like a record label, or just even, you know, a bunch of people at a show. Like for us, it's all kind of the same. We're just like living in that experience still.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like you get little wins like this that come along the way, and we just, you know, you got to enjoy it in that moment, and we just keep working towards the next thing, you know. So
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
It is a plus though. He does mentor us as well.
Yeah.
So like before we do something absolutely silly or say something, he will go, "Oh yeah,
Yep.
maybe I'll hold off on that, guys."
Sense check it a little for you. That's good.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, that's awesome.
we're only
It's good to
human.
have the support, right? And
yeah,
I feel like for a lot of bands, especially in heavy genres, and in Australia, you see a lot of bands, they have to do a fucking lot before they get to that point. It's not often that they are only putting out one EP or a few singles. They'll have had to do independent, you know, multiple albums or whatnot before they get to that sort of stage where that even has the potential. So for you guys to do that so early on is incredible, and just well done. That's awesome.
thank you.
Yeah, and we've also got the overseas opportunity, so we
Yeah.
hopefully will be planning that soon. So
Awesome.
yeah,
No, that's great. Now, as we mentioned, you have just released a new single. And I say new lightly because the song existed for quite some time, right? But you've re-recorded it. It's now put out into the world. We're talking about NCB. So what can you tell us about, I mean, maybe the original recording of the song, does it differ much to what it's become now in its latest form?
the
Yeah,
first
so-
recording we heard of it was trash. It was done on GarageBand. And we listened to it in a van on the way to Melbourne to that first gig we played in
That was
Melbourne.
because, hang on a minute, he's chatting
Where
shit.
there was,
Yeah. That's because I
he's like,
recorded it.
no, you
I
got to
didn't have
listen
a-
to this. You got to listen to this, and we're like in this van with no like soundproofing, basically. So
Yeah.
all we could hear was the road and like
Just muffled like guitar distortion, like you can't even make out any notes or riffs. But yeah, no, so the song, you're right, it was 2021 when I first sat down to just write the like any demo, you just sit down in front of the computer, hit record and go for it, you know, and that's kind of where it was. Obviously that very first version is changed over time. Like that's just what happens when you take music to a band. But the carcass of that song is pretty much the same as how it is right now.
Yeah.
The lineup at the time, so we ended up we did the final recording for that song. I think it was at the end of 2022. Oh no, sorry, at the end of, when was it? 2022, I think, because we recorded Wake Up and Deadline.
2022.
It was 2022, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because those came out 23. So yeah, it was end of 2022. We finally recorded those three songs together. But after we had released Deadline, that was when we had a lineup change. And so the vocals were done on that vocalist at the time, and we just felt weird about releasing that song just with a different vocalist, especially if we're playing with someone else. It just didn't feel right. So we just
that makes
left
sense.
we left it in the archives, and honestly, like it was just something we didn't really think much about because we then started to write new music as well.
I'm
then
going to
when
be a
Pan-
pain. Can I just
Oh.
stop for 1 second? I can see I'm reflective right now because the sun's hit right through that window.
You've got sun. Where do you live? Perth.
No, it's all right.
The bane of being fucking pale.
Yeah. Oh, you'll find it. Yeah, so then when Panda got once we showed Panda the song, I remember I was sitting at Phil's place. It was like a Saturday or Sunday morning. I think it was Saturday morning. And I played the song for him, like just through my phone. And I go, sing these words back to me. You know, I see what failure lies hidden within. And he just sang it like beautifully. And
Awesome.
it was like, it was a morning voice as well. Like he was just woken up and I was probably pissing him off at that point too. But he sang it back and I'm like, we have to do this with your voice, you know? So then that's when we decided we're going to re-record that song.
Yeah.
And then we wanted to put live drums on it too, because the original version wasn't live drums.
Yep.
Which was something we were all kind of against, but at the time it was kind of just what we had.
Yeah. You got to make do.
Yeah, so we got Tiago on that song too. He absolutely loved it as well. So we figured this is going to be the song we drop, you know, with the new lineup. And we've been receiving such great feedback already, and it has been a week. And we're just like stoked that people feel about the song the same way we do.
That's awesome.
Because, although it's 3 years old, like you kind of get over hearing that song, but then after people are hearing it for the first time, we relive that moment as well.
Yep.
So it's cool, yeah. Like it feels cool.
That's awesome. And what were some of the inspirations and kind of themes behind it?
So
Dan and girls.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because
Isn't that like every metalcore song?
Yeah.
So in 2021, it would have been like in the middle of the year at some point. My partner and I at the time we split up. It was very mutual, and it wasn't like bad or anything. And the day I left her place and I'd packed all my stuff and I brought everything home. I unpacked all my shit, and then once everything was like unpacked, I'm just sitting there and I'm like, this feeling I have right now is shit. You know, like I felt defeated. Like I felt like I'd failed. That was the feeling I had. And so that, like I do with like all the songs on Unleash, I got my notepad there and I just opened it up and I'm like, what am I fucking feeling right now? And I just started writing. And then as I started writing, I could hear like a kind of melody in my head.
Yep.
And that was what was the first. I've actually got a video of it on our social media, but that was the first like kind of little reflection that I wrote on Not Coming Back. And from there was when I just like started to build the demo files on GarageBand, the shitty GarageBand recordings.
Yep.
But yeah, and then I just had that song, and then it wasn't until I think like a few weeks after when we were with the band and just pitched the idea, and then that's when it first started. So yeah, it was a song about redemption, not a love song. I just want to make that very clear.
Yeah,
because Dan can't express love.
Well, so I've been told, but yeah.
That's rough.
He's a rough man.
Talking about my like appearance, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just heckling you.
Yeah.
So what's next for Engraved then? Have you guys got some more music in the works? You're talking about obviously working on an album. So what's happening? What's on the horizon?
I'll let Phil explain this.
So we've got 7 more to be released.
Yep.
Throughout next year. One pretty much at the start of next year. And then they'll all start trickling through and probably all be released by September next year into an album, basically. And yeah.
Awesome.
And it's been a while since any of us, well, Mick, Corey and I, and probably Tiago, since we've released an album.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because we've done stuff with other bands. I know albums are kind of dead these days. But
don't say that.
No, they're not dead. They're just not as popular for bands releasing?
It's
Because it's
look,
a lot of work,
it's
a
been a
lot of money.
conversation that's come up quite a few times with a bunch of bands, and it's sometimes it's singles or EPs can be easier to manage, like you said, the cost, the time, especially for you guys if you're having to worry about interstate, right? And also people have talked about like the attention span, and do we
Yeah.
need to do less so that it's more? Albums will never die, but everything has its place. And I think that releasing what you can do realistically is better than trying to do something that maybe you can't quite do if it's not going to be as good. You just do what's good, what works for you.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of, I mean, you've touched on like the whole engraved experience, really. That's like, we just do what works for us. So,
Yep.
yeah, but, yeah,
And
I like
with the interstate stuff, Dan just drives up. Like he just jumps in the car
How
and
far
drives
is
up.
it?
It's only 8 hours.
I'm a hobby of mine as well. Like, I'm quite enjoying now driving 10 hours every, like, at least once a month or 20
Once
hours,
a
I should.
month. Twice. You're coming up next weekend, and you're here last weekend.
Yeah, so like going back to what you were saying before, we were playing a lot of shows throughout the year because we knew that this next kind of 2, 3 months we're going to take off and just focus on the album. So
Yep.
that's where it is for us now, and we're just going to be writing, and you'll see a lot of stuff on social media of us just chatting shit and being idiots in the rehearsal rooms, and
Nice.
so
What's the writing process like for you guys as well? So, because it sounds like, Dan, you've done a lot of the writing in the past, and like you're saying, there's been those changes, but is it more collaborative since you've found these guys? How does it kind of work and balance?
yeah, definitely more collaborative now that we got like the group because we all understand the direction Engrave's going, which makes
Yep.
writing a lot more easier. So how it kind of happens is that I'll have like a demo of a song, like I'll just write guitar and drums,
Yep.
just like what's in my kind of just where I'm at with how I'm writing. And I know like there's some things I write that will not probably get used, but I throw them in there anyway because it just gives a bit of a mood to a song.
Yep.
And so these boys will give some stuff a listen and whatnot and kind of just pick apart little bits here and there. And whatever they like, we then head to the rehearsal room and we'll just start to jam the song out a little bit. It's interesting because obviously because I'm away from everyone, so I can't exactly teach them how to play the parts. So
Yep.
we're just like it's the beauty of the Zoom calls and video calls, and I just make little videos for them and shoot it off, and
Yep.
once I'm up, yeah, we go through the room and we start to practice everything together. Like this last weekend, we were just all together and we smashed out a song that I thought was ages, and we did it in one session. So
We
Nice.
did 2 songs. Two.
actually,
Good
sorry, two
effort.
songs.
Good effort.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. But it's
That's
good.
awesome.
Like the reason it works is because like everyone's now in the same mindset. So
Yep.
yeah, we understand our goals, and like when we are together, we really appreciate that time to just work towards it. So yeah.
Awesome. And I guess, is there anything else happening for you or the band that you guys would really like to talk about?
That's a good question because that's probably something I haven't really thought about myself. Like, look, other than the label signing and getting the album underway, we are excited to potentially go overseas next year. So
Yep.
yeah,
You're
that
planning
is.
somewhere in particular?
We're kind of going with the flow on this
Yep.
because we with X Music, they've got artists all around the catalog. So we're trying to collaborate with someone there and see what works. For Australian bands to go over to say America or Europe. So
Yep.
that is another thing we're kind of in the works with, but
Yeah,
nothing's
awesome.
good.
Yeah, we do have a bunch of stuff all scheduled in, but unfortunately can't really announce
Yeah,
yet.
that's all right. That happens surprisingly often on these, and I have had one or two things where they've slipped and then gone, oh wait, no, I can't share that. Redact.
Oh, lucky it's not live, eh? Yeah, yeah.
No, that's great. So before we finish up, where can people find you and how can they support your music?
We are everywhere. Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. YouTube music videos are up there. Yeah, Instagram and Facebook. Like we're posting all the time. Well, I'm posting all the time, and then these guys are also giving me all the content for it. So
Yep.
you can see everything we're up to all the time, which is yeah, just us and us having a good time. So you'll find us wherever you look.
Awesome. Well, look, thanks again. I really appreciate you taking the time for a chat.
No, thank you heaps.
Likewise, thank you so much. It's been great.
And thanks to those tuning in for this episode. Until next time, stay metal.